Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We are playing with the Ashes of Malmouth expansion as the new Necromancer class. We have made it to the Broken Hills. So today we're gonna kill ourselves a harpy. And we probably just do a good job of clearing out the Undercity. Oh, the Steps of Torment, Undercity is what we did last time. Also, harpies popping in behind me way after I've run past them. Not the best thing for progression. If they spawn too far behind, then, well, that's their problem, right? They just have to catch up or stay alive. But anyway, this train is still going strong. We could have taken the small bridge up here and then worked our way over to the Undercity. In this case though, I actually think we're gonna kill the Lutra, the abandoned harpy, first. Then work our way to the next waypoint and then we just backtrack a little bit to the Undercity. Just to see, oh, that's three different uniques in a row, three different heroics. Okay, I don't think I should be standing on top of poisoned terrain. That's really bad for my health. And if they start charging in, that is even worse for my health. Let's just get out of the circle. Yes, thank you very much. Wonderful. And then, of course, I should also get out while picking up loot, but picking up loot, that's best trap you can set for me. No, just throw about some loot and then just have some damage over time thing going on, and it is gonna murder me. Oh, another heroic in here. Narnach, the Great Watcher, who is gonna watch the inside of their eyes for a very, very long time. So, just keep going. I think actually I went down too early. This is actually the entrance to the secrets, the hidden passage. This is the door to one of the hidden path, to the second hidden path fight. First one, of course, being back in Act 1 in the swamp. But that is slightly higher level content, so I do tend to postpone that until later. But yeah, this is just gonna curve back to the Steps of Torment, so we'll go back there at a later time. First up is gonna be the harpy. It's a very nice concentration of heroics. There's another 3 different ones over here. Okay, let's do a Call of the Grave, just to give a little bit of sustain to the pets over here. And wonderful. Oh, big AoE, let's see. Just draw the minions out by walking far out of myself. It's probably the best thing you can do. Let's see, anything good on this? Oh, looking at gear, we just found out 2 inventory boxes full of loot last time. Only thing that remained was the Doomforge breastplate. Put a silk swatch in that for some bleed and pierce resistance. And this little ring was a decent upgrade over what we had before, given that the bleeding resistance from the old ring was no longer really useful. And it's just a very simple damage bonus. The elements are really misaligned, but 5% chance on attack to cast a lightning sphere is kind of funny, since we do attack rather often. And as we observed with the gluttony seems to trigger on minion attacks. This might also trigger, so that might be something to just play around with a little bit more actively to see if it's possible to just trigger lightning attacks by simply standing still. Do we actually get to trigger some attacks, or was it truly all in my head? Because there's no gluttony attacks going out while I'm standing still. Okay, just being a cheerleader here, just boosting our minions. And let's go in. But no, the damage output is good, and well, both of our tanks are nearly dead, but we did kill the named boss, so that's alright. We might as well hand the quest in, then we have that one done. I believe the reward for this one was an attribute point. Minova. Thank you for one whole attribute point. So that's gonna be one of each. Wait, I leveled to 30. Completely went by me. Yeah, we put some points into this. No, let's actually see if we can just fill up the mastery bar and then have a look at the Master of Death as well as the Reap Spirit. I think it's time to just complete that one. Okay, so we've had quite a lot of encounters already with large groups of enemies. Let's see what we're gonna get from this. Polished Emerald, that's not that scary. Most of the time, or often, there are a large amount of these bulls, heroic bulls. And then we have a retreat to what I've come to dub as the Bridge of Death. That's the one we just passed over. Simply because there is a lot of damage coming your way and death is a very real option. In this case, it seems like we had a lot of heroes already in our warm-up. And there's not much in the follow-up. Well, it did get ourselves a devotion point. We refunded 1 point, so now we have the juggle completed. So the red point here can be refunded again. And Typhus, the Jailer of Souls, is now open to us. So next point is going to help us unlock that one. Okay, plenty of damage at the minions. So let's just booster them a little bit. Okay. Now we have a bunch of Mistborn here. Now we cross the bridge, head north, tag the waypoint. And then it is plenty of time remaining. Hey, Elsa. Hey, mute your friend is looking for you. Well. So, yeah. It's an odd conclusion to the story arc, because we were technically looking for her. That was the whole reason why we were here. And then at some point that kind of became less important. But long story short, she doesn't really care much for Mornay, even though he really wants to find her back. Poor him, but well, that's life, especially in Grim Dawn. It's not all roses, puppies and unicorns. Just keep following the road and that gets us to where we need to be. Yeah, well, do that. I think we could just push through here again as well. Seems we picked up a mage again, since I see meteors falling from the sky. Definitely gonna get killed at some point. Then I think I see a meteor falls, like, hey wait, that's friendly meteors, and then it turns out it might not be. Oh, you are not quite friendly. So whenever you catch an enemy going for your backline, now that's a very good time to make sure that you've cast Cold Grave to bolster their regen. Okay, let's tag the waypoint. Wonderful. Then, yeah, we can go back to the Broken Hills. I think that is a shorter walk. Actually, yeah, that's a shorter walk. So we can just go and then go up and then we can go down. It's funny, well, usually the The trek through the Broken Hills is one whole episode, and then the Steps of Torment are maybe another full episode. I think we can just do both of them, and we might even have a little bit of time to spare. I just keep getting pleasantly surprised by how well this build is playing. Ooh, hello there, hero. Yes, so again we're getting ambushed from behind, so Cold Grave. And ooh, Ancient Heart. That is a rare one. Also interesting. The minions are not quite focused on the thing that is just throwing lightning storms at them. And again, they are skeletons. You can't really expect them to have a functioning brain. Wonderful. So, well, sense of self-preservation not to be entirely expected. Wonderful. So just thinking ahead slightly, we're gonna wrap up the Steps of Torment, and today that seems like a doable thing, or at least this episode. Then we maybe tack on the run to Homesteads, maybe do that next episode. Then from Homestead, of course, we have two different directions. We have the little trip towards the Tyrant's Hold, and then we have the farmlands, and after that we can push north. No, Tyrant's Hold, farmlands, and then we push north towards Sorrow's Bastion. But we're making some pretty good progress, because this is only the later stage of Act 2 already. Hello there, oligarchs are gone, bunch of XP, what's next? Head into dungeon. Let's have a quick look, what did we get? Ancient Heart, that is for crafting. Grim Harvest Boots, ooh, that looks like it's class appropriate for me. Movement speed, resists, Master of Death, and summon Briarthorn. Is this Master of Death? This is Master of Death. Wonderful, we are going for this, so in 2 levels we have this. Summon Briarthorn is something that we have, that's one of our big pets, so bonus points to that is awesome. More resistance for pets does make them sturdier. The flip side is that we do give up on some of the niceties of our current boots, but on the other hand, can't really argue with bonuses to skills. So we'll flip this one in once we are back in town, and we can shuffle some components around. Anything else that is completely useful? No, from a quick glance, it doesn't. So let's go and murder Grand Priest Zarthuzelen, who resides all the way at the bottom of this very much not cheerful place. Ooh, level 34, 33, this was a slight challenge dungeon, which is always nice. I do enjoy a challenge, especially given that we've been just generally just murdering everything without really too much of a resistance. Finding foes that are a bit higher in level and therefore a bit more difficult to take down, or just more difficult to overpower. It's gonna be a nice test to see where we will be in a couple levels. Also seems like we are just gaining more levels than normal. Or just advancing through them a bit more quickly than normal. Okay, let's see. Small box there. But of course the leveling curve is different, so because of the new content and things like that, so it might be just that things are just gonna be different in general. It used to be that the leveling curve went to 85 in 3 difficulties of 4 acts each. Now we go all the way to level 100 in 3 difficulties of 6 acts each. So the curve, it had to have been adjusted a little bit. Okay, it seems like I'm whiffing a bit. No, I'm imagining that. 90% chance to hit is pretty decent. Might be just the sheer amount of combat that is happening around me. And it might sound like you're trying to hit but not actually hitting. Okay, we do keep losing minions here and there. But luckily they are really cheap to recast. So it doesn't really matter all that much in the end. Okay, first step of this is going to be pain. And pain starts with an ambush. Wonderful. Ooh, we have 2 mages. That is fun. Okay, let's just put an ill omen back on everybody. Just make them run around aimlessly. As far as strategies go, it is pretty nice. Especially now that the enemies are slightly more tough. As I say, when the apparitions around us are actually lower level than what we encountered before. Haunted nobles are level 33 again. Wonderful. Okay. Oh, more spawns. One of the things that is, on the one hand, slightly annoying, on the other hand, it does make for a more interesting encounter. And that is the fact that enemies do pop up behind you. And especially in my case, because I do have the retinue of skeletons mostly behind me. All the ranged ones are somewhere behind me. If I run ahead too far, then anything that pops up from the floor is gonna devour those weaker ranged skeletons. That one is not one of mine, that is an enemy. Is there anything in here that is worth looting? Yeah, a small box. Might be that this is one of those locations that has a chance to have a larger chest spawn there. Because I think they are not all deterministic. You just got a chance to encounter an ornate strongbox like that in certain places. Secret wall with some corpses. And an ambush. One of the things that also got changed in, not even in the hotfix, but in the expansion itself, was the drop rate of some crafting materials, such as ectoplasms. Got increased a little bit. And I think there's a couple other ones as well. So some things that used to be incredibly rare, such as ectos and vengeful wraiths, they are now more accessible, and some of the crafting recipes for some of the components that really required some pretty dedicated farming before. It's now a lot easier, which is nice. So, since now for some builds you ended up requiring a lot of vengeful wraiths, which in turn required ectoplasms to make. And it just meant running all the ghostly areas in the game over and over and over again, and just finding maybe one or two fragments of an ectoplasm or a vengeful wraith per run, because they were not dropping all that reliably. Okay. We gained ourselves a level, so that is 1, 2, 3. And next level we will become Master of Death, which sounds quite fancy. It's like a university degree from a really special kind of university. Okay, let's actually take the side path here rather than the main path. Oh. Just so that when we walk up to the shrine here, we at least have this whole side path clear. Because I know from experience that the fights, sometimes you really just want to have some space to make a strategic withdrawal and just fight them on your own terms, rather than just being holed up there. Got ourselves a blueprint for Squire's Greaves. Bonus to physical damage, some health and some movement speed. And a 100% chance to cast a Seismic Blast when you get hit by a critical hit. So that's a pretty good incentive to to actually get hit by critical hits. And let's see, what was that? A bunch of physical, pierce, cold damage, or resistances even. As far as defensive ones goes, this might not even be all that bad. Let's put it in and then we'll just have a look at it later. Now we have an appointment with this Desecrated Shrine over here. Boom. Okay, there is at least one hero in there. That is the Eladar Bloodthirster. Call the grave, summon all the minions. The tough pets are losing a lot of health, so re-summon them. We are in the middle of trouble, so let's make a small step backwards here. Casting Ill Omen. Don't think there's anything in here that is impressed by the Ill Omen, but just casting it anyway, just to make a point. And in general, minions are dying quite a bit, and I'm drinking flasks rather actively here to keep my health topped up. But we did kill all the things. Well, I was gonna say all the things, but there's actually just waves of small minions popping up. Boom, cleansed. I think this was about 5 minutes faster than it was with my soldier. So that's a small improvement. Yeah, we did spend our last point on the Jackal last time. Still have to refund that one, but we can get started now on Typhus, Jedi of Souls. Right, so this is one end of the dungeon. Next end is going to be over there, on the way to the boss. Ooh, Mark of the Traveler. Those are nice in boots. Just opening up with a big bone harvest wave is pretty satisfying. And despite my not having upgraded my weapon in a while, the damage output is still respectable. Okay, we still have a full legion of minions. Let's just do a Call the Grave to trigger some regeneration, since the regen from it is much stronger than from Mog Drogon's Pact. Okay. Game is stuttering a little bit, oddly enough. Yeah, one of the downsides of Grim Dawn is that it's running on an older engine, because it's basically just a upgraded version of the same engine that was used for Titan Quest, which was released back in the early 2000s. And as such, it's optimized for just using a simple single CPU core. Not really all that great on multi-core. So if I'm just looking over to the other screen for some CPU things, then I see that one main core is maxed and the other 7 cores are not really doing all that much. That's one of the downsides of older games. The optimization is for older systems as well. Hello there, Grand Priest. You are level 37. That is 6 levels above me. So, yeah. Whoa, I'm being locked in place here. That was less than stellar. So one of the tricks in this fight is to just get rid of the add-ons first. Also, don't stand in the circle. That's pretty good for your own personal health and well-being. And just keep resummoning your minions. Ow! I definitely was not paying enough attention to my health bar here. Because I thought almost that we just had completed this already. That's that's what you get for rushing through things and then just getting caught unaware or just slightly by surprise. Broken hills, yeah. And we also made a small mistake there of just not recasting portals. Yeah, that's also one of the downsides of just having played a series on hardcore. No, there are no portals for having died on hardcore, because death is the end of the series. So you do lose the habit of putting down portals. Okay. On the other upside, of course, there are some respawns and things like that here. So we can go after them. Hello there, Harpy, Deathwind. So, good thing is we haven't actually gotten the Master of Death title quite yet. So, to just put it into the bigger narrative, we have to die first in order to experience what death is, so that we can truly become the Master of Death. I think that's the line I'm going with, since it just makes it look like this was all part of the bigger plan, rather than just me being foolish and not paying too much attention. That's definitely something that I really do suffer from, and that is that if it's too easy to go through the game, I really start playing casually, and I really I don't pay as much attention as I probably should, and then you really do get caught by surprise in some situations. Oh, I think we forgot to go into the tower, through the tunnel, and to open up the treasure chest here. Wonderful. One of the upsides of going through a second time. Oh, we have one more minion to summon. Excellent. Also, it is now night outside rather than daytime. The game does have a day-night cycle in it, which is nice for some graphical variety. We have played through most of the content already, so it's not going to be a lot of resistance that we will encounter here. But chances are we will catch some stragglers here and there. And I think there was a thing we forgot about, wasn't there? Was that head? I think it was on the next level. It's like a prison cell that had a secret back door that we forgot to break through. They did have a little bit of loot. Okay, then we go through here. Just double checking for some secrets I might have forgotten. And yeah, then we can go through here. And there's some loot, that's always good. Note to self, might as well just put a portal here. See, this is the secret wall, and then there's a corpse that drops a buttload of things. Wonderful. I guess they're being backed by a priest, aren't they? Yeah. I guess that in situations where enemy levels are sufficiently above me, priests do matter a bit.
That skill's not ready.
Also, when my army is not at full strength, I notice. And no, there was nothing in here. So we can move forward here. Okay, Misery. What a appropriate name. Because dying here was a pretty miserable thing to do. Upside is, of course, no, we got to clear some stragglers, clear some other side rooms that otherwise we would have skipped. Pick up this ancient armor piece that was just waiting here for me. Okay. And pick up a fair chunk of experience along the way as well. In the boss room there should be a grave marker that we can just click to get some of the lost XP back as well.
I can't do that yet.
Just keep chain casting the Call of the Grave here. Wonderful. There's another portal. Yeah, might as well put it here. And then let's wrap this fight up. I think we nearly had him dead, so ought to be mostly a formality. Okay, scratch that. He actually had quite some life remaining. And yeah, he sets the ground ablaze. That's not very good for my health. Okay, regain some XP.
That skill's not ready.
And yeah, again, just get out of the burning ground. It is really not good for your health. And now we kill him.
I can't do that yet.
So, got a couple of items specific to them. A bit of lore, which is of course useful for experience. We got ourselves a Tainted Blade of Nerval. Bloodburst, wasting, that sounds very occultist to me. Bloody Pox, also a similar thing. 10% chance when hit, that's nice for a defensive purpose. Of course, not really that good for us. Bloodhound Greaves. So, general run-of-the-mill boots. We're not really doing bleeding damage, so not that important. Modifier to Blackwater Cocktail. I do notice they are starting to become a little bit more common, the items that modify certain skills. In this case, Blackwater Cocktail is Demolitionist, Mirror of Erioctes is Arcanist, and Aura of Censure is something I don't recognize, so this might be from the Inquisitor, because that's a class I haven't played yet. So this is also part of a trend or something that they introduced with the expansion, that is bonuses to skills of 3 different classes, so items will have applications in multiple classes rather than always being tailored for a specific combo. But of course we were here to have a chat with Calderos. Okay. So a skeleton key and a blueprint for the skeleton key. So this is a useful blueprint. For a long time this was not a mandatory reward for completing the quest. This was actually a random drop. So if you were not lucky, then you could actually not have a way to build yourself more skeleton keys. Skeleton keys are used to gain entrance to the dungeon that lies behind. It is a dungeon you go in and you cannot use portals to leave. It's the roguelike dungeons, as they are called. Their challenge level is even higher than the area that contains them. In this case, I'm just going to skip them and continue with the normal story. We did manage to clear the entirety of the Broken Hills, the Barren Highlands, and make our way all the way to Smuggler's Pass. So for next episode, we're actually gonna clear Smuggler's Pass, go over to Deadman's Gulch, and then through the mountain deeps, and see if we can set foot in Homestead. Would be nice to just tag all the waypoints there. And given the speed at which we have been progressing so far, I think that is definitely gonna be a reasonable thing to do. So with that said, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.